Good morning and welcome to another edition of Truck Talk with Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. I am so glad today that I have the president of Sanders Truck Lines with me, Mr. Trace Parker, and we're going to do the drive of the month. But before we do anything on Mondays, we always do the word of the day. The word of the day comes from Proverbs 25 and 8. And I told Mr. Parker before we got started, I said, this is really what we need in the trucking business. Study Bible says, do not rush into a legal dispute, for what will you do later if your neighbor humiliates you? King James Version comes back and says, go not forward hasty to strive, lest thou know not what to do in the end. Therefore, when thy neighbor have put thee to shame. In other words, sometimes you can just sit down, talk about it, and work it out. Trace,
Yes, sir.
it is good to have you.
It's good to be here. It's interesting that you left that message for talking about trucking, because man, I tell you, it's some of these lawsuits you get in where it's not your fault really test your faith and not getting upset. But we managed to work through that as best we can. So
Frankie Serious, he called me when that company, I think it was a couple of weeks ago down there in Florida, might have been on that went out of business, and the guy made the write up. He said, I'm just tired of the nonsense.
well, you take a company that's been in business for right at 70 years.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Mr. Wiley and them. They've built, their families kind of built their empire, whatever you want to call it. They built, worked as a family and built this thing up. And a lot of them in some of these cases are just not willing to just give it away. Some of these lawsuits have got so crazy and what they call it, nuclear. And like I said, man, it's just a shame. I'm from the standpoint, if we ever hurt anybody, I'm gonna do all I can to help them, and that's what we want to do. But some of this stuff gets really ridiculous at times. So anyway.
But I like the steps that we made with our cameras and stuff. And I like to tell the guys every Monday, I said, when you get in our truck and you see that camera, say hello to your friend. I said, because that can save you in so many situations. I come from the old school. When you told Mr. Wiley you hit a deer, he said, where's his horns?
Yeah, those get a little expensive nowadays with truck costs and all the way they are. Good gracious, that used to be a cheap thing, hitting a deer, but it's not anymore.
They got these bumpers that you got to make and all that kind of stuff. Well, let's start with one of the divisions that a lot of people ask me about, and this is the duck division. And I get a lot of questions about it, hauling the fertilizer that we make there in Troy. All right, read it out. I'm gonna let the president read it out. That'll make.
Hey, I know this David Sykes.
See, that's why I want you to read it.
Good deal. 45-12. I know David. Congratulations, David. Great fella too. Really good guy. I'm glad I drew that. He's good. He's a good friend of mine.
Well, good. That's why I want you to read it. Everybody can know that the president read Bill's out.
Y'all see, I ain't got nothing to do with this now.
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody. I quit touching the handle.
Yeah.
They say I can stop the handle, so I quit touching the handle.
Touching the handle. If you're loading it up, I'm looking away and grabbing it. Let's see. There's one.
Who you got?
Terry Hayslip drives truck 4119.
Did you say Terry Hayslip?
Hayslip, yeah.
He's got a trainee in the class this morning.
Okay.
Young man come in there. I got to go back and tell that I told that young man.
Congratulations, Terry.
Yeah. He got a student in the class. That makes me feel good when we say, oh, I show you how we're about family. We 2 for 2. If you don't know this guy, you know 2 of them, so that was pretty good. When the president of the company knows you by first name, that's pretty good deal. I go along with that. I'm going to take them numbers. Uh-oh. Y'all see what happened. Door come on.
Technical difficulties.
And I'm getting every card. Slide that one to me. Put that in there. Put the caption here. There we go. There we go. All right, here we go, boss. Last one.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Who you got? Who you got?
It's it. Torrance Seabury,
What truck? No.
71.
70, 71.
I think that's pronounced Torrance. Toorence.
Torrance Seabury.
Seabury.
But anyway, his
Congratulations, Torrance.
dispatch is Strauss. And I won't take this time. Isn't Strauss done such a good job?
He has really come on good. He was, tell you a funny story about Strauss. He was recommended to me from a good friend of mine here in Troy. He worked for him while he was going to college. A guy named Mike Mabry that had a service here for lawn and landscaping and all. He worked for Mike, and Mike told me, he said, man, you need to talk to this guy. He said, I ain't hired many people, you know, around that I thought so much about, but he said, this one right here is a good one. So we interviewed him and wound up liking him and hiring him, and hadn't regretted it a day.
Well, I
He's
talked
done
to a lot of
job.
I talked to a lot
He's
of
a
his
good guy.
drivers, and that's what they say. I said, listen,
Yeah.
I love Strauss. I love Strauss.
Yeah, he's been a good hire.
You know, he got some of Lee Outlaws veterans. You know, when you see them, when you see them veteran
we
guys,
got some good new hires and some guys that are in
Max Bundy.
dispatch. Max came in. We got Charlie Rawls is on our night dispatch desk, which he'll be eventually moving to days. And you know, that's kind of, we've got some good guys in the background, and you know, we've had some guys retire.
Yeah,
So we've kind of had to replace some of them. We like to do it from within as best we can.
yeah.
Folks have been there a long time. They've earned their keep. So, but anyway, we're blessed. Business is not where we'd like for it to be right now, but you know, we're gonna keep plugging, and it'll come back sooner than later.
What about the trucks? Because guys are gonna get on me and they'll say, "You had him there, and you didn't ask him." I've heard that we've got some more trucks.
We've got a few more trucks coming, and we haven't bought heavy because if you understand, you know, this new international motor, this S13 we're really kind of, you know, still testing a little bit. We want to know more about that motor. It's new to the U.S. They've been running it over across the pond in Europe for many years, but we've so far we've seen really good results. The MPG on those engines is incredible. The riding of that truck, everybody seems to really like the International. So we're not going to load up too much just because it's something a little bit newer. We're going to try to ease into it, make the right decision, and try to make a bigger buy when things turn and get a little bit better.
Get a little better.
Have an idea of what we want to do then. So,
I always like to mention this when I have you on the show. This driver of the month was the first question I've asked you when you took over this job, and I never will forget. I asked you, could I do it? You said, yeah, and I kept standing there, and I went to telling you something else. You said, dude, don't oversell it.
yeah, I remember that conversation.
I will never forget that. And throughout the time you've been there, when you ask something, you're going to give an answer. Or you're going to say, I'll get back with you. But once you give an answer, you don't want the person. You say, dude, don't oversell it.
That's right.
And I tell people all the time, I said, I talk myself in it. I said, but I think about it, quick, kept talking, I done talked myself out of it. Tracy, I just want to tell you from an employee and from the words that I hear, because I guess I'm a hear everybody come and tell me stuff, people are happy. We like you say, we had some struggles and stuff, but people know you care, you know. And I pride on this when I go to a school. When you work for a company, and you can have the president of the company come on, he can pull 3 out of 450 people, and he know them, and it ain't big. You just pull a line. That's a man that's involved with his drivers. And I tell people, I say, our president is very driver oriented. I mean, you look out for the drivers, and you did since day one, and we coming up now. Better have our driver appreciation. And ladies and gentlemen, this man pushes it. I know what I have to do that week. We all know what he expects that week.
Yeah,
we have fun. Yeah, that's coming up.
Coming up in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes, it's close.
Yeah, I got a lot of boxes. John Smothers has already had some vendors to give us some stuff. Tony is making us a cooler. We've got a lot of packages coming up. We got a lot of stuff coming up.
Well, it's just a time, you know, I'd like to see it happen more. You know, driver appreciation, because we really do appreciate them year round. But this is that time of year. If you don't ever do it any other time in the year, do it that week. Pick you out a driver. Halstead will be telling you the dates. I think it's like the 16th.
Yeah,
Somewhere around in there that week. But y'all, pick you out a driver one day, even if you don't see one, you see him at a convenience store or somewhere. Just tell him, man, appreciate what you do. Thank you for your service, because he does a lot for this country. I tell you, you shut these trucks down, and you talking about an economy that'll come to a stop. You'll see it. So we're proud of our guys. We're proud of what they do, and we want to try to do it, be as safe as we can always out there. So, but anyway, just always thank you to our drivers.
And I always say when those guys, and I don't call no names, but when those guys be on TV talking about call me, I always wish that one morning they got up and they didn't have that $500 suit because it was on a truck somewhere.
Yeah.
If you got it, if you own it, and it's in your possession, I don't care what it is, from this laptop to the nice jacket you got on to this nice sandal shirt I got on. It's been on the truck.
It sure has.
It's been on the truck.
If it hadn't, a part of it has. That's for sure.
Well, Trace, we're gonna get you out of here, man. I appreciate you taking. I try not to bother you too much, but I keep my yeses in my hand, and most of the time it's always yes. So thank you for coming by this morning.
Always a
I know
pleasure.
you got a lot to do. Thank you so much, and hey, I'll see you on the yard.
Sounds good.
There we go. What at modern technology? And we're back with Truck Talk with Wally Sanders Truck Line. You know, I almost made a mistake. Well, I did make a mistake, but Miss Sandy pulled me out. I did not get my boss, Trace, to pull the shop employee of the month. I imagine they would have been a little upset with me if I didn't pull their name. I'm going to sit that right there, Miss Sandy. Just reach your hand in there and get one and just, yeah, just reach through them all there and get one and hand that to me. You don't read it out. Tell me who it is. Surprise me. I don't think I had nothing to do it.
Driver's name is Samuel Isby, maybe?
No, that's the driver's name who picked her.
The employee is Linnell.
Linnell. Oh, the cleanup crew. I won't take this time to say this to the cleanup crew. Thank you guys. And I'm going to thank you in advance because you heard us talk a while ago about we having Driver of the Month coming up. And I think I gave the wrong date out a while ago, and I'm going to get that right. It starts the 15th. Trace was closer. Well, me and Trace was both 2 days up, and he was 1 day back. It's the 15th. And I'm going to tell y'all, we're having a lot of company. We got a lot of surprises. It is the only time of the year that Wally Sanders asks their business for something. You know what, Miss Sanders? I'm going to go on and ask old Steve Camp now.
Okay. All right.
So tell me about where you're from.
I'm from Troy. I live here in Troy. I've been
Okay.
working for C-Spire and working for Steve for a little over 12 years.
All right,
I
then.
sell advertising.
Why do you get the pretty people here? I see him every day. I don't see you when I come in
He
here.
keeps us out there knocking on doors saying, please buy an ad.
Well, you know, that's kind of what I have to do. Online, I go to school and say, please come work with us. Well, good to meet you. Good to have you here. And thank you so much.
You're very
I
welcome.
kind of feel bad. The first day I meet you, I work you.
That's
You know
good.
what?
That's what we do.
The next time you drink a cup of coffee, I want you to use that cup.
Okay.
Take that cup with
All right.
you.
Thank you very
And to
much.
show you how
That's a great
how much I appreciate what you do. That is the last cup. Now on live TV, I can tell Tony Swindle, I need those cups. Thank you. We'll be right back with Truck Talk with Wally Sanders Truck Line.